Family of missing Bambalapitiya businessman pleads for his release. Grandmother of Yoshita Rajapaksa summoned before Financial Crimes Investigation Division. The Tamil language has not been given its rightful place. A statement by former President Chandrika Bandaranaike. Western Province Cooperative Department rejects the audit of the Vattegedara Sanasa Society. JVP accuses the leader of the House for exerting external pressure to cope's investigation on the bond scam.
We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo with the latest news from here at home and across the world. A very good evening. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
Good evening. I'm Shah Rampot. Let's start off to look at the top stories.
Tonight, 7 police teams led by the Colombo Crimes Division have begun investigations into the abduction of a businessman from Bambalapitiya.
I am opposite the residence of a 29-year-old businessman named Sulaiman located down Kotalavala Avenue in Bambalapitiya. He was abducted on Monday night. Relatives say he was abducted opposite his house. It has been 3 days since he was reported missing. Shakid Sulaiman, the victim of the abduction, is engaged in the importation and distribution of garments from China and Indonesia. He is engaged in the trade together with his father.
His wristwatch was thrown to a side and there was blood spatter. He has no enemies and he did no wrong to anyone. He was innocent. He does not have any grudge with anyone. He has a son and a daughter. If someone took him, I asked them to call me. I will give them the money in secret. We will not seek the assistance of the law. Please return our son. That is all we want.
Police said that the abducted victim had filed several cases against other businesses with the Colombo Crimes Division and the Criminal Investigations Department with regard to acts of fraud. His wife and 2 children await his return.
Yoshita Rajapaksa, the son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and his grandmother Daisy Forrest appeared before the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today.
Statements were recorded in connection to a plot of land in Dehiwala following an order issued by the Mount Lavinia courts. According to a correspondent, the duo were questioned for nearly 4 hours. They questioned me over land which was given to me by my mother. They asked me to bring the deed for the land in question, so I did as they requested. Again, we are prepared to come at any given time that they ask us to.
Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade, Malik Samaravikrama, made a statement to Parliament regarding the deal that was reached with a firm in the United States of America.
The scope of engagement includes lobbying the US Congress with a view to introducing and passing a bill to have conflict-affected areas and lagging areas of our country as qualified industrial zones, and thereby obtaining preferential market access to goods produced in those industrial zones. Honourable Speaker, this contract with the US firm STNR has been entered into in the fullest transparent manner. The proposals have been evaluated by the Sri Lankan Embassy in Washington and their recommendations have been obtained. The proposal to enter into a contract with this firm was endorsed by the Cabinet Subcommittee on Economic Management on 25th May 2016 and subsequently approved by the Cabinet of Ministers on 14th June 2016 after submitting a comprehensive memorandum which gave all details of the objectives, output of the contract, type of engagement with a comparison of costs among the offers. Honourable Speaker, I am also a strong advocate of media freedom. However, the media should not abuse that freedom. Before allegations are made against politicians, whichever side they are on, or public officers, or even the businessmen, the media should obtain their explanations and clarifications before publishing damaging and incorrect articles.
The knowledge of the Cabinet of Ministers regarding the said agreement was questioned at the Cabinet media briefing held today.
There was a report regarding this published on the papers. On behalf of the government, what we have to say is that there is no such deal with a lobbying firm. That is a false news report. No, there was a statement made at the cabinet regarding the financial hub and obtaining the services of a former Attorney General and another individual. That is one thing. There is no lobbying company of this nature operating in the country. It says in this that there is an office operating in Sri Lanka. That is completely false. Wait till the official release and we will clarify this.
This is the agreement reached with Sandler Travis and Rosenberg PA, regarding which the Deputy Minister could not provide a clear answer to. According to the contract, which will be in effect for 18 months, Sri Lanka has to pay a sum of $630,000 to the said company. The controversy surrounding the purchasing of coal from Swiss Singapore Overseas Enterprises Private Limited continues to grow, with another startling announcement made today at the Cabinet media briefing.
The minister pointed out that there will be a profit of $9 if one tender was issued. For a series of imports, he noted that if we import in bit by bit, we will incur a greater cost. He said that this tender procedure was adopted in order to save a great deal of money. These calculations are deceitful. Only persons at the Ceylon Electricity Board who rake in large salaries can make such corrupt and fraudulent calculations. The corrupt secretary of the CEB continues to pave the way for that. They are once again presenting documents to Cabinet to purchase 330,000 metric tons of coal. If coal is purchased from Swiss Singapore Overseas Enterprises Private Limited, we will have to pay $73.94 for each metric ton purchased. If 330,000 metric tons are purchased under this agreement, we will have to suffer a net loss of $30 million or 444 million Sri Lankan rupees. Supreme Court noted that this matter shocked the conscience of the court. It said that Lanka Coal Company has the power to withdraw this tender. Now they are attempting to narrative to state that this is the government that has the power to do this, and that this decision should be taken by the government. We call on the Attorney General to go to courts and seek an interpretation. This has been taken to Cabinet. We call on the President to lead a separate investigation into this. They are swindling millions of public funds. Earlier we saw officials tweeting their relatives. Now they are tweeting their friends. Where were persons like Batagoda when this government was established? Why are these secretaries being allowed to take control in this manner? We did not elect this government to commit such crimes. We are saddened to speak about these details. Persons who entered Parliament through the national list and are unable to garner 5 simple votes are committing these acts. They may say that these funds are being funneled into the party, but in reality they are being directed into their own businesses.
The Committee on Public Enterprises, or COPE, is scheduled to table its report on the central bank bond transaction to Parliament within the first week of October. Meanwhile, a statement made regarding COPE was debated in Parliament today.
Today, around 4 newspapers had published a statement made by the leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla, that the evidence presented by the central bank officials on the bond issue were contradictory. Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla is not a member of the Committee on Public Enterprises. Therefore, he cannot at any instance make any reference to the committee reports. This would cause a massive obstruction to the ongoing investigations, and it would also cause a certain influence upon the officials who are providing evidence. Honourable Speaker, if Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla is making such a statement to the media, that itself is external interference to COPE.
I request that reports from August be examined and a decision be taken, because there is in fact a certain element of contradiction in those reports. You can examine them yourself. What the leader of the House is saying is external interference. Please correct that media report. If the COPE chairman is saying that there is no contradiction, then I will accept it.
There is one thing that we see. Whatever that is to be reported to Parliament gets reported in the newspaper. So that too has to be stopped.
There is no one to catch in this regard. At this instance, there are rogues who could be caught red-handed right in front of us. It is to prevent false reports from emerging that I said from the beginning to open this to the media. So why aren't you doing that?
There is a certain obstruction because of the current standing orders. If we can do that according to this, then let's open it to the media. Let's convene the media for the entire investigation. Have open investigations into the Greek bonds and other cases that caused financial losses to the country. You're simply hanging on to one part and circling around it. The report on the hedging deal worth 64 billion rupees has not been handed over as yet.
It is probably because of the large number of activities at the Finance Ministry that the COPE report has not been read. A loss of 10.2 billion rupees has been caused by the hedging scandal. This is mentioned in the report. Facts have also been mentioned on the current chairman of the Lanka Bank. Only Cabinet has the powers to function beyond the report.
There isn't a backdrop at this point of time for us to speak about what is mentioned in the COPE report regarding the Lanka Bank considering the current situation. It is, however, unfair that even when the government is trying to do something transparently, that is being criticized.
COPE has the powers to investigate the current issues.
There are 4 of you in Parliament, out of which 3 are members of COPE.
Well, there are around 15 of you as well. Do you not know this? Responding to a question raised by JVP MP Nalinda Herath, Minister Vijayadas Rajapaksa revealed in Parliament today that he had spent an amount exceeding 5 million rupees for overseas visits after the presidential election. From the 8th of January 2015 to date, as the Minister of Justice, I have made 12 overseas visits, and as the Minister of Buddha Sasana, I have made 4 overseas visits.
Can you tell us the total expenditure?
Welcome back to the news. Chairman of Avant-Garde Security Services Private Limited, Nisanka Senadipati, arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division today to provide a statement. A statement was obtained regarding an alleged incident where a sum of 30 million rupees from Lanka Building Materials Corporation Limited was provided to Avant-Garde.
Several luxury vehicles have been parked and left to rust at the old speaker's residence in Kolpiti, Colombo, which is also known as Mumtaz Mahal. Newsfirst captured footage of these vehicles that have lost their value over the sands of time.
Who owns these vehicles that are parked at the premises located down R.A. Dimel Mawata? Why are these vehicles simply parked here? What purpose will these vehicles serve? Who had left these vehicles here to rust?
Cabinet approval has been granted to establish a national media centre under the purview of the Prime Minister's office. Journalists raised questions as to whether the centre was established before receiving Cabinet approval.
Minister, the media centre has been established already, hasn't it?
It received Cabinet approval yesterday.
However, interviews were held by the Prime Minister's office and people were recruited to establish a separate unit.
The basic tasks were carried out, however, it received the Cabinet approval today.
Then, isn't there an issue? As it has been established as an independent institution by the Prime Minister's office.
This is required for the state media process. This deals with state information. This is not another independent media institution, but thus will be in effect to protect the independent media in the country.
Speaking on the Newsline program aired this morning, political commentator Farhad Shaukat Ali commented on the progress of the Good Governance government.
We have to acknowledge the good things, or the positive things, and we can start off with the price of fuel, gas. They've both been brought down. We have the right to information bill, which is now in law. Good start. We've got the Office of the Missing Persons, contentiously, some say, passed. The Speaker has signed it through. Again, a good start, and sends the right vibes to the international community at large. Very essential when we're trying to attract foreign investment. So we have a new lease of life, we have a new sense of freedom, and this government has robustly defended those vital democratic components. However, we now have the bad points. And the bad points are that the people feel absolutely, utterly let down because this government was elected on this bandwagon of good governance. And they promised to hold those who had indulged in corrupt activities to be accountable and responsible. We've had a shocking lack of delivery in those terms. We have people who are remanded and released, remanded and released, remanded and released, and it goes on and on and on. We have people here who have complained bitterly about the use of lobby firms, especially in the US and in Britain. So we have a situation that they're doing what they accused the other side of doing. And it doesn't make it right. Therefore, overall picture, I believe, out of 10, 4 plus, and a lot of other things yet to be delivered.
In more local news, the Colombo High Court ruled that an interpretation on the interim order issued by the Supreme Court over a fundamental rights petition of former parliamentarian Tiran Alas must be sought before filing indictments against the former MP. The case was taken up before High Court Judge Kusala Sarojini Weerawardena today.
Indictments were to be made against Tiran Alas over the case filed against him at the Colombo High Court on alleged financial fraud committed in a housing project done through RADA or the Reconstruction and Development Agency. On previous occasions, the police media spokesperson as well as several other sources have revealed that the case is with regard to a 800 million rupee transaction. When the case was brought up before the courts today, Additional Solicitor General, President's Counsel Yasantha Kodagoda informed courts that the transaction amounts to 124 million rupees. However, the attorney representing Tiran Alas, President's Counsel Nalinda Duvethi, argued that the indictment papers in this regard cannot be handed over to the courts today. He pointed out that such indictments cannot be presented at this point as the final verdict of the fundamental rights petition filed by Tiran Alas is yet to be announced by the Supreme Court. Moreover, President's Counsel Shanika Ranasinghe informed courts that a statement is yet to be recorded from the second witness in question, Emil Kanthan. He also argued that unlike in many cases where measures have been taken to record statements from witnesses who are overseas, in this case, the witness, Emil Kanthan, has not even been informed in this regard. After taking the facts into consideration, High Court Judge Kusala Sarojini Weerawardena said that according to the interim order of the court, facts should be elaborated on the indictments of the fundamental rights case of Tiran Alas on the 28th of September.
The attorneys representing us argued that the verdict of the fundamental rights petition I have submitted to the Supreme Court should be taken into consideration. The court agreed to our request and allowed for the indictment to not be accepted until the verdict of the case filed at the Supreme Court is handed out on the 28th of September.
The News First Government, the 100 Days Initiative, continues to fulfill the aspirations of Sri Lankans who live amidst various hardships.
Government, the 100 Days, Day 36. The Ussan Bridge, which links the Kalevela and Palagala divisional secretariat areas in the Mathale district, has been one which was neglected for over 3 decades. During the rainy season, this bridge becomes a death trap for those who dare to cross it.
The water levels rise to 7 to 8 feet. People have even fallen off and we rescued them with great difficulty using ropes. We go to school in fear because we are not certain. We can't return home if it rains. When it rains, it is extremely difficult to bring the children to the other side.
The perseverance of the people of Ussana to renovate this bridge was washed away by torrential rains. When the Heaven Alla Oya overflows due to the heavy rains, residents are left helpless.
We do not cross, we simply remain on either shore.
If someone renovates this for us, it would be a meritorious deed. This is the Watamadakalan Bridge in the Watamalagama area in Hambegamua. It rained here recently and the signs of a bridge have also disappeared. The Newsfirst Combat the 100 Days initiative paid heed to the request made by the people of Kakul Kadwa and Rambathala Gama.
This is the route we used to go to school. The white dress gets soaked when we cross.
We are at an unease until the children return. We cannot carry goods across the water. We are helpless.
We are not certain if crocodiles are in this waterway. We travel in fear. Our fathers carry us across. If there is someone who will come forward to build this bridge, we will be able to go to school.
You too can contribute to change the lives of fellow Sri Lankans. Join the Combat the 100 Day initiative.
The Office for National Unity and Reconciliation and the Department of Official Languages launched the website of the Language Facilitators Pool today.
The event was also graced by Minister of National Dialogue Mano Ganeshan, Minister of Women and Children's Affairs Chandrani Bandara and Minister of National Integration and Reconciliation A.H.M. Fauzi.
In 1957, the reasonable use of Tamil bill was brought in. But to date, that bill has remained unimplemented. Every successive government in this country excelled in sweeping that bill under the carpet and not giving the Tamil language its rightful place. This has given the situation that in government we do not have, in most government departments, in ministries, we do not have one single person who can work in the Tamil language. Not one single person. The Constitution has stated that there are two national languages, Sinhala and Tamil. And the public service cannot work in the second national language. To blame are not the public servants, but successive governments that have governed this country. Most of them practiced discriminatory policies towards the minority communities. I was always shocked by the lack of even the inability of the public service to deliver services to the people in the language of their choice. I think a totally unacceptable, shocking situation that prevails in this country.
When the provincial council system was introduced to the country, those elected to a council were given a name that was from the colloquial Sinhala language. These provincial representatives are commonly called Palababas, which simply translates to provincial babies. The validity of continuing to call provincial council representatives by this name in the current political context was confirmed by the events that transpired inside a meeting room of the Western Provincial Council yesterday. This is because the Chief Minister of the province and the former Subject Minister of the Western Provincial Council acted as though they were infants who are completely unaware of the large-scale financial fraud that has taken place at the Maharagama Wattegedara Sanasa Society, which was established through Cooperatives Declaration that is in effect in the province. Due to scam, more than 500 external depositors who are non-members of Sanasa Society are unable to recover nearly 700 million rupees. It is an artist's task to comprehend the scale of the financial fraud that has been committed to the external depositors and members of the society, mainly due to the disappearance of the documents and digital records pertaining to the functions of the society. Incidentally, statements made by the Chief Minister shows that he has a close connection to the board of directors who are responsible for this fraud.
I informed this forum that they have obtained funds and they are not capable of carrying out this task. I told them that they have to be accountable to the people's money. I informed this to Nishanta and Virodeva. On a previous occasion, they supported me in the elections. However, this time around, they did not support me at all. This was the result.
However, prior to this meeting, the Chief Minister appeared at the council session and his presence raises the question whether he in fact appeared on behalf of the Sakvitisile phase of Wattegedara. A decision was reached during the Western Provincial Council session yesterday to suspend the day's proceedings and hold a debate on the fraud that had taken place. However, this is when the Chief Minister displayed his might to the entire council.
As I am aware, the Wattegedera Sanasa does not have any relation to the Provincial Council or to me. Does this proposal have any link to us? Is this even connected to the Provincial Council? Honourable Chairman, you must take a decision on this proposal. If you wish, you can reject this proposal. I can dismiss this proposal if I want to.
If a debate on a corrupt activity committed by a society registered with the Provincial Council Cooperatives Department is not allowed within the Provincial Council, is it a sign that these attempts to seek justice will not be tolerated?
There are persons who deposited funds by selling goods on the pavement. There are persons in homes for the elders struggling without the interest. There are pensioners like me who are affected by this. Some have even directed their provident funds. There are persons who send their foreign earnings to this as well. All these people are in distress and suffering.
The Cooperatives Department of the Western Province had not carried out an audit on the Wattegedera Sanasa for over a decade. Shouldn't persons who were directly and indirectly involved in the swindling of the public money be exposed to the nation through a proper investigative committee and not by those who perform Sakviti-style acts? Governor of the Western Province, this is over to you.